I want to show you a nice way to get out of the stuck mode. And if you're not feeling stuck, but you just want to perform at a higher level, the reason we get stuck was we're only using one part of us. We all have multiple personalities. Have you considered at least 4 archetypes that we could use within you? And I'm going to make this quite practical, so let me give you an example. 4 years ago, I got a phone call from Conor McGregor's team, a year and a half or 2 years before, lost from this man named Khabib, if you know the UFC, but they had really bad. Bo wasn't just getting beat. They said things to each other. They attacked each other, families, and personally, and they're both very intense. Man, he lost to this guy, and he was living on anger before considered mystic. Mac, he could read people's punches before they happen. And so he said, look, Conor's working his tail off. He's really committed to getting better, but we really want to tune up the psychological part to make it as strong as possible. And he believes in your work. So when you come work with him, so I did, I don't share everything I do with someone, but I can share this because it's general one. One of the things I did was I saw that he was only using part of himself because he was so angry. So I explained to him, there are 4 archetypes, 4 ways of parts of yourself that you could tap into. First part of you is called the warrior. Think of the warrior as the part of you that will not be stopped. That'll push through any limitation, a part of you that it doesn't matter how afraid you are. There's no courage if you're not. Scared courage is you're afraid, but you do it. Anyway, it's like if you're really scared, courage is it's a muscle, or you learn to push yourself through it. Well, the warrior will push themselves. They'll find their courage. They'll push through even. If they're afraid, they'll do it anyway. He's going to fight this guy named Cowboy who had all kinds of records. I've said if you go in there, this warrior, and you is going to be a part of winning. I want you to discover where this warrior is, and we're going to do some weird stuff. Think about if this unstoppable part is in you, where does it live in? Your body. And I said, I don't want you to think intellectually. I just want you to touch the part of your body where it is. And he touched right up in here, the top. Right, this clavicle area. He goes right here. I know this sounds weird, but I want you to make the sound of the warrior. And he made this lousy little sound. I said, no, I mean fully embodied. And then he made this roar sound that shook the building. I said, that said, make the sound again, or made the roar sound. He's touching it. He's focusing on, he's making this sound. I said, what color is the warrior? And for him, it was green, right? So, and what's the sound of the warrior? To make the sound, what's the warrior say? So we're going to do this, but I got nervous with activate. It's not like I have a warrior over there. I'm intellectually thinking. I'm some part of myself that can figure you out. No, it's embodying that part of yourself. And then once he's in that state several times, touching that part of his body, focusing on into the color, making the sound of the warrior, then I said to him, I want you from this warrior state to finish the sentence. The warrior says, Conor. So in my case, it'd be the warrior says, Tony, all you need to do, focus on, I want the warrior's response. So I got him again and state crank the energy, making the sound, everything else. We did the warrior. There's another part of you called the magician. The magician is the part of you. The warrior will fight through, push through, won't give up. It has this drive, this energy, this strength that's scared to still make it happen. Has a totally different approach. The magician is like, magic's like the magician knows it. All can change in a second. It's all perception. You change what you focus on. You change instantly what you feel and what you experience. How many of you have ever been at a funeral and it's really depressing and sad? People are in tears. And then someone shares a story, a funny story about the deceased, and you go from crying to laughing in 2 seconds, and all That's changed as you changed your focus. So the magician knows that they find the easy, simple way. And I said, you used to be known as Mystic Matt because he was known for almost like being able to see what punch someone's going to throw before. They even started to move. That's how magical he was. That's why he became such a champion in multiple weight classes. And I said, let's have you find that part of you. And so he found where that part of it was, and he touched his face like this, and then he started to grin from ear to ear, and he started to smile like that. So now he's in a different state. He's focusing on it. He's got the color of the magician, the sound of the magician. And then I had him keep saying things, and he got a whole different set of distinctions that calmed him down. I said, you've been overroosing your warrior because you're so angry, and your magician's been on the sidelines, not participating in your fights. His eyes got really big like this, and he goes, you're so right. It's so different when I'm there. I need the warrior, but I need the magician too. We get stuck when we only use one part of ourselves. Third part is the lover. That's the third archetype, the lover. You all know what the lover is. The lover is the part of you that loves life, loves work, loves people, loves everything. It's the joy. It's that flow. It's a completely different state than the warrior and the magician. And so he touched his heart, and he started breathing in his heart. And then he made the sound of the lover, which was a sweet little sound that you would never expect coming out of Conor McGregor. Okay, now that we did it multiple times, he was really in state, and I had him just out loud say, the lover says all you need to remember, all you need to focus on, all you need to do is you realize that the lover wasn't, he used to love fighting. He used to love being with his team. He used to love training, but he gotten so angry. The lover was put aside. The magician was put aside, and the warrior was warning him, if you've been through a lot of tough relationships that haven't worked out, you might feel your lover's worn out. We need to bring maybe your magician and your warrior back to get you back in the game. So then the last one is the sovereign, the king or the queen, the sovereign. And I said, this is the part of you that is wiser than your years. This is the part of you that maybe is connected to God or the universe, that has fought the wars and knows that even if you lose the battle, you can still win the war. This is the wise part that has history. A great king, a great queen. Now, you don't become a great king or queen by claiming you're a queen or king, by the way. I'm such a queen, I'm such a king. People do that social media all the time. The way you become a king is you become a servant. Hero is the word most of us know to be hero. Its Latin root is CVO, which means servant. When you serve the most people, that's when you get to be the hero. But you got to be the servant, right? The sovereign is the servant to all that you've ever experienced, is incredibly wise. It's not fearful. Sovereign has vision beyond this moment. Even if the moment looks horrible, the sovereign knows we're going to get through it. So I got him. Find his sovereign. I got him to make the sounds of the sovereign, the colors of sovereign. And then what sovereign says, Connor, all you need to focus on you. Remember all you need to do. So we got all of this coaching, and this coaching was coming from within him. And now all these parts are awake and alive. I had him go to bed that night with some instructions. And I came back to the next day for the fight. And right before the fight, I went backstage with him for just 10 minutes. And all we did was reactivate all four of these parts. And if you saw the fight, it's a very famous fight against Cowboy. He's a really good competitor. And in the first few seconds, Cowboy makes a move. It looks like he's going to take Connor down in the first 20 seconds and really look good. And all of a sudden, Connor, the magician in him, popped, is what he explained to me afterwards. And in a millisecond, his brain anticipated what was going to happen, and he found a way to push through and use a headbutt and hit him, and then a punch, another punch. The whole fight was done in less than 60 seconds. But what I was most proud of in Connor, he didn't sit there and just suck up the victory. He went over immediately, P Cowboy up, and he hugged the guy, and he goes, man, you got records I don't even have. And then Cowboy, his mom died years ago, so he had a grandma, and she was there, and Connor went up and hugged the grandma. And said how much he respected him. I just thought it was such a beautiful moment. And then afterward, the press room, he talked about, he's got records. I have so much respect for this man, and I'm grateful that I was able to find the opening and make it happen. And when I asked him afterward, he goes, Tony, it was unbelievable. My warrior was ready. I was loving being there, just being there. My sovereign was in charge. Play magician just found that opening, and boom, it was over in less than a minute. It lit up like a Christmas tree. All those pieces are there. Later on, then out another fight, he got back to drinking a little bit and broke a leg and got angry again and went back to the old patterns. We could make ourselves successful or unsuccessful just by, do we use all of ourselves or just part of ourselves?